Okay, so CinemaCon passed a few weeks ago, and with it came a good chunk of Spider-Man news. It was announced that Tom Holland's Spider-Man 4 is going to be titled Spider-Man Brand New Day, which is actually a comic book storyline where Peter's secret identity is forgotten by everyone after the events of this bullshit. That is set to start filming this summer after Tom finishes filming The Odyssey, and it is set to release on July 31st, 2026, and I'm excited. But more importantly, we finally got an update on Beyond the Spider-Verse, which was originally supposed to release back in March of 2024. How they thought they were going to release this movie in that time span, I don't know. But to no one's surprise, it got delayed indefinitely until now, with the new release date of June 4th, 2027, which is a long time, but mind you, that is a month after Secret Wars. So when that time comes, we're gonna be eating good. Spider-Verse movies are not only one of my personal favorite takes on Spider-Man, they are a lot of people's favorite take on Spidey, period. And not only that, they also really do have the potential to become the best trilogy in movie history. People will disagree with that just because these are animated comic book movies we're talking about. But you know what? I'm not gonna poke that bear any more than I have already. They showed a few stills which, to no one's surprise, looked absolutely incredible, and they also give us a little bit of insight about this movie. Here we see Miles and Prowler Miles most likely fighting in a very bright area. It was reported that Beyond the Spider-Verse will pick up right where we left off. Based on his torn up suit, the Jordans, and all that, I imagine this would take place soon after Miles uses a Venom Blast to break out of his restraints. But like I said before, they're in a pretty bright and colorful setting, which isn't very reminiscent of the much darker Earth-42, aka Prowler Miles dimension, that we saw at the end of Across the Spider-Verse, meant to represent what a world without Spider-Man would look like. At first glance, I thought this kind of looked like Earth-65, aka Gwen's dimension, but when you compare the two side by side, you can quickly tell they aren't very alike. So I'm not sure, but I'm guessing quite a lot happened between these two to get to this point. On another still, we see Gwen and Miles alone on some sort of tower. It's pretty clear this takes place on Earth-138, aka Hobie's dimension. While this does look very beautiful and almost peaceful, the disruptive animation style that Hobie is known for is still very much evident in things like this light bulb, the writing next to this clock tower, and please tell me I'm not going crazy, that's a guitar, right? I'm not the only person that sees that? No? No? Alright. Miles clearly isn't very happy here. He's kind of looking down and he has his back to Gwen, showing us that this is probably a very uncomfortable moment. So we can assume that this is their first actual conversation since everything that went down with Miguel. One of the main things I want to see in Beyond the Spider-Verse is for Miles to not really trust some of the people on the team Gwen put together at the end of Across. It's hard to say for characters like Spider-Ham and Noir since they weren't shown in Across, but in the case of Gwen, Peter B, and Penny, Miles should feel backstabbed by them, and I would love to see them have to rebuild their relationship throughout this movie. We got 3 other shots, 2 of Miles and 1 of Prowler Miles, but these don't really give us as much info. This shot of Miles just shows a really cool, almost glitchy background, which might be yet another animation style they're cooking up. This shot of Miles isn't anything too crazy. As you can see, his suit is torn up, so once again, this probably takes place fairly early on in the story. And finally, this shot gives us a good look at Prowler Miles. And there's not much to say about this other than he looks fucking insane. But apart from the stills and the release date, we don't actually know too much about this film besides a few things we can piece together based on the last 2 movies, such as Spot trying to destroy the city and Miles trying to save his dad. But it's thanks to this lack of info that we can let our imaginations run wild. I already vaguely mentioned what I want to see from Miles and the other Spider people on Team Gwen, and frankly that's probably going to be what's most important to me personally in this next film, but there are plenty of other things I would like to see in this movie from other characters. Spot is obviously going to be a very important part of this next movie, but to be completely honest, I would really like for him to just play a sort of final boss role rather than the main villain throughout the whole film. Across the Spider-Verse already did an incredible job at fleshing him out. We know his backstory, his motivations, we understand how his powers work, and we see the entire journey of him going from a goofy villain of the week that Miles beats with relative ease to this incredibly powerful threat that multiple Spider people are gonna have to inevitably face and most likely struggle against. I just personally feel like there isn't much to tell about Spot other than his conclusion, the final fight. So who's gonna be the villain throughout the whole movie? Well, I think that role pretty clearly belongs to Miguel. There's still so much you can do with the conflict these two have, and frankly, Miguel's whole story arc doesn't feel like it's even halfway done. Now, I'm no screenwriter, so I'm not gonna even try to think of what they could do with Miguel's character in this movie. but I do want more confrontations between these two. And I feel like everyone expects Miguel to at one point come around to helping Miles, and to be honest, I wouldn't be mad at that. I just hope they do it in a creative way, like, I don't know, Miguel sacrifices himself to save Miles' dad or something. I don't know. Look, I told you, I am not a screenwriter, do not listen to me. When it comes to creativity, there's no one better than the Spider-Verse team, so I'm not worried. Ooh, also, side note, I need that white suit. We all saw it in Across, and this shit looks so cool. Jeff is obviously going to be important with all the Spot stuff, but I also really want to explore his and Rio's Earth-42 counterparts. I want to know how that version of Jeff died and what sort of impact it had on everyone's lives. How's Rio's relationship with Miles in this dimension? Did his death push Miles to become the Prowler? These are all things that I feel are super important, and I imagine they will be revealed when we get to know Earth-42 Miles. I don't know if this is confirmed, so don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure Earth-42 Miles is set to be more of an anti-villain, which makes me think these two are going to eventually team up at one point. Other than that though, this version of Miles is pretty much a complete mystery to me, and I'm really excited to see what they do with him. The last note I have is please. Yeah, don't do that. Gwendolyn has died enough. Please just keep her alive. They've been building up these two's relationship for 2 whole movies now. So after they work through all the things they went through in Across the Spider-Verse, I would love to see all this setup pay off. If I have to sit through yet another death of Gwen Stacy, I'm gonna freak the fuck out. Beyond the Spider-Verse has so much writing on it, and if this movie flops, I genuinely won't know what to do with myself. But you know what? I am not worried at all. The people working on these films have proven time and time again that they truly understand Spidey and what fans love about him so much. These guys took a character like Miles Morales, who was infamous for being incredibly boring in the comics, and they made him the leading man of the best comic book movies of all time. So if you ask me, I completely trust everyone on that team, and 2027 can't come any sooner. For now, all we can do is wait and hope that these next few movies live up to their expectations. Brand New Day is definitely my most anticipated movie, behind Across the Spider-Verse, of course, so I'm excited to see them reveal more about that. People have started to watch Thunderbolts, and I have yet to see a bad reaction to that, so expect the review sometime next week. And of course, Fantastic Four and Superman just continue to look better and better every time they release something new. And just today, I was informed that Spidey's theme was played in the last episode of Born Again. I have no clue how absolutely everyone missed this until now, but I am now even more excited for season 2. 5-hour chair streams aside, the MCU has felt a lot more confident recently with their releases, which brings me a lot of joy, and it makes me really excited for the future. As for DC, James Gunn appears to be in his bag with everything going on over there in the DCU, so I can't wait for that to kick off. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, go check out some of my other videos. I think I got a few in there that are worth watching. Let me know your thoughts on Beyond the Spider-Verse in the comments. What do you want to see in this final film? Anyways, thanks again, and I'll see you soon.